Welcome to Classroom of Tomorrow, the podcast where we explore the innovations shaping the future of education. I'm Kelsey, and today we're diving into one of the most talked about trends in education, artificial intelligence. From adaptive learning platforms to AI-assisted grading, AI is revolutionizing how students learn and how teachers engage with their classrooms.
And I'm Geethika. AI is definitely reshaping the landscape, but it also raises some important questions. What role does AI play in supporting teachers rather than replacing them? How do students respond to AI-powered tools, and what obstacles do schools face when adopting these technologies?
Later in the episode, we'll be sitting down with Professor Lynn Cooper. She's been practicing with students and trying to find ways to incorporate AI into her classroom and has some incredible insights on both the opportunities and the potential pitfalls of integrating AI into education.
Dr. Cooper really emphasizes the importance of blending AI with the human touch in education, finding that balance where technology enhances but never replaces the role of professors and teachers. You'll definitely want to stick around for that conversation later in the episode. But before we get to that, let's start by hearing from some local students on their perspective on AI. So I'm wondering, do you think AI tools like ChatGPT is helpful for students in schools, or do you think it has more downsides?
I think that it's helpful in generating ideas and forming outlines, but I do think that it has its downsides because it can be overused and people can lose their creativity and originality.
And following up on that as well, do you personally use AI tools for your coursework, and do your professors encourage it? And do you think it's helped or affected your study habits in any ways?
I definitely think that it is based on the professor and which course you're using. Some will say it's allowed, some will say it's specifically not allowed. I would say that when it is allowed, I will use it to, like I said, generate ideas, generate an outline, maybe come up with test question examples when I'm studying, stuff like that. But I would say that I avoid using it in my writing specifically.
I think it's all about balance. I definitely think it can be abused in the classroom, but as long as teachers set boundaries with their students, I think it should be allowed.
I think AI can be very, very helpful. I just had a test and I used it to quiz myself before I went in. I think it was very helpful. I think as long as you're using it in a constructive way rather than to be your mind for you, then I think that it can be very beneficial.
We're at Vanderbilt, so obviously we're encouraged to grow and stuff like that. And by using AI more, you're basically kind of hindering that aspect or that ability to think critically.
I'd also love to introduce our special guest, Professor Cooper, in the Engineering, Science, and Management Department at Vanderbilt.
Thanks for letting me be here. This is my first podcast, so very exciting for me.
So first, I'd love to ask you, how do you see AI impacting education, both now and in the future?
AI can be a valuable tool. It can make folks who don't have the underlying but not critical skills be able to perform at much higher levels. But then it also makes it so that true creativity, true uniqueness, is going to be even more valued, because I'll tell you, your essays are all starting to look alike. Large language models have biases in how they word things and present stuff. There's this almost uniformity in how things are being said, so that when folks are truly creative, it stands out even further.
I kind of agree with that. I'm actually a grader this year for a class, and I didn't exactly realize how easy it was to tell, and it gets kind of exhausting going through all of these assignments, making very similar comments, and whenever there's someone that did something very different or went just above and beyond, it was just so refreshing, and I would always leave a really nice comment because it was nice to see amongst all of that.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with everything that's been said here. I'm curious to learn more about how you encourage your students to use AI tools in your classes. How do you strike this balance between using it and then also relying on it too much?
I'm doing an engineering ethics class for next semester. Part of the class is going to be journaling assignments where they have to start with AI. So they have to do an analysis of an ethical situation using AI and then validate all of the references and citations that are in there, because one of the things I'm really concerned about is AI hallucinations, but also intrinsic bias. In the language models are only as good as the source material that they use to train them. So I'm very excited about that. It's a little terrifying in some respects to be teaching using a tool that I'm still experimenting with. It's not just me, the whole world is experimenting with it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Some of my professors have been very encouraging about the use of AI, but I've noticed in some of my more STEM heavy classes, for doing some problem sets, I try to do them on my own first and go back through the material. And then I'll put the problems into ChatGPT and have ChatGPT check them and explain ones I didn't really understand. And I noticed that's a really good tool because I'm still putting my own thought in, I'm still learning the material, but this is a way I can have like a checkpoint and like almost like a second professor.
One of the things with the use of AI we can't separate out is misinformation and using tools to propagate misinformation. The more synthesis and interpretation that goes into the AI outputs, the more cynical and critical and careful we have to be about just accepting them at face value. Your generation is facing a world where misinformation and information are both present in very large quantities.
So, like, bouncing off of that, I'd want to understand what ethical concerns do you foresee in the future for AI in addition to just misinformation, people not being able to kind of discern what's real and what's not? Do you see anything else in that field?
So one of the things is where you are taking away people's critical thinking skills because it's just easier, right? Universities will not allow that. We want our students to do critical thinking. And this, to me, is just another opportunity to show how and why you have to be critical thinkers. Because not only do we have people producing garbage, we have machines doing it even faster for us.
And that wraps up this episode of Classroom of Tomorrow. We hope you enjoyed hearing from Professor Lynn Cooper and the Vanderbilt students who shared their perspective on AI in education. It's clear that while AI is offering some incredible tools for both students and educators, the future will be about finding that right balance between technology and the personal connection that makes learning so impactful.
Professor Cooper gave us a lot to think about, especially when it comes to how educators can use AI to enhance learning without losing that human touch. And hearing directly from the students was eye-opening. It's always great to get their take on how these innovations are playing out in real time.
As always, we want to keep this conversation going. If you have any thoughts on AI in the classroom, or if you're an educator using AI tools, we'd love to hear from you.
But until next time, keep asking the tough questions, and remember, if your AI assistant starts assigning you homework, you might be in too deep. But thanks for listening to the Classroom of Tomorrow. We'll see you next time.